So, hey guys, it is now 6 days after my laparoscopic gastric bypass, and I want to give you a little bit of an update on how things are going. Bottom line, they're going really, really well. Just wanted to check in about kind of how I'm doing in general. So, got home last Thursday after the surgery being done on Wednesday. So, I was in the hospital, about 24 hours or so once I got out of the operating room. Pain control at first was a little bit challenging. Did require some IV narcotics in the hospital. Once I was home, I was given a prescription for some pain medication. Ultimately, ended up taking like 5 tablets over the course of 2 days. Then I've been able to transition to Tylenol and do really well with that. I kind of compare how my abdomen feels right now to having done 100 crunches as opposed to like really significant pain. It's more of a soreness. And so really thankful for how that's going. When you think about this surgery, one of the biggest risks, if there is one, while low, is getting a blood clot. So I've been sure to do lots of walking every day, get outside, go down to the end of the road, which is, maybe 75 yards, not a long way, but walking every day. And so that's been something that I've been able to do and has been important for me. Diet still, kind of on a full liquid diet right now. What I've been able to do is a couple of protein shakes a day, some yogurt, some sugar-free popsicles. I really don't have an appetite at this point. Main thing is taking lots of sips of water. That's been one of the biggest challenges, especially the first day or two, was felt really dehydrated, mouth dry, that type of thing. And making sure that I stay hydrated. The sips you can take are so small after this surgery initially. And no matter how many people have told me, oh, you're going to have to take really small sips, it wasn't something that I fully appreciated until I was actually required to do it. And so it does take a very high volume of small sips to stay hydrated. And so that really feels like a full-time job at points, but been doing really well with that. Only threw up once, and that was in the hospital. Some of the Jello kind of went down funny. And since that, I haven't thrown up. Have had some nausea. Was given a prescription for Zofran and use it, once or twice a day still at this point. Interestingly, my mood and disposition has been really good since surgery. I've heard of some people kind of having reactions where they feel like they're, lost from a friend or have like a bit of an emotional crisis. Really haven't felt that. Actually felt much worse right before surgery when I was on the liver shrinking pre-op diet. Was actually really sad, emotional. Have felt good, very hopeful since I've been home. There were definitely some fears before surgery. As a surgeon, I knew this was a very, very safe procedure, but also as a surgeon, I know that rare events have to happen to somebody. So it wasn't zero risk. So there's definitely relief at being on the other side of it at this point. And I can't really say how thankful I am to be doing well and how thankful I am to have done this procedure at this point. I told somebody it feels like I have a fighting chance now. I know this isn't a cure-all, but I now feel like I have this tool that can significantly aid me in losing weight, which has been a major challenge for really a very, very long time. And so I feel incredibly hopeful. Not obsessing about the scale. I was 342.8 pounds the day I went to surgery. Stepped on the scale this morning and I was 326. So what is that? Almost 17 pounds in 6 days. But not really focusing on weight loss per se at this point, just focusing on healing and knowing that if I follow the steps, that weight loss will come. And just a brief word on something that kind of came up for me as being a patient that really there was definitely some fear and anxiety both before and after surgery. It's an unknown process to you to be the patient, even if you're familiar with some of it as being a physician. And there were many, many folks in the hospital, healthcare workers, nurses, doctors, technicians who offered encouragement and hopeful words that really meant more than I could really ever express. A lot of the specifics are kind of foggy to me, as you know, there are a lot of drugs involved. But I remember before rolling back, the anesthesiologist at the end of his kind of pre-op checklist, just looked me in the eyes, kind of put a hand on my shoulder and said, "We're going to take excellent care of you. You're going to do well." And that meant more than I could ever put words into. That did more to relieve my anxiety and lower my fear, I think, than any Versed or anything ever could. Now, the Versed came later and definitely added to that. But in that moment, before there were any drugs on board or anything like that, just having somebody that was present and that I could tell cared meant so, so much to me. So really don't have a whole lot else to add at this point. I feel like I'm doing really well. There is some fatigue that kind of really has hit me in the afternoons, but if I kind of add things up, I think I'm like 500 calories a day or something like that. So that isn't too surprising at this point. So I'm so, so thankful and so, so hopeful about how things are going, and wanted to do kind of a 1 week update. I'll keep checking in every couple of weeks to let you guys know how I'm doing, but so thankful for the doctors and nurses who've taken care of me. And really, it just kind of struck me as a patient how meaningful what they do is, and hope that they know that and know how important that is to patients after what's been a really, really hard year for some of them. So thanks for watching, and we'll keep updating you guys periodically.